Giraffe.
Riddy.
Girl boss.
Great.
Generic.
Genetic.
Igloo.
Indigo.
I think that's all the words starting with I. Hello.
Hi.
And welcome to a draft review. Yeah. What are we doing here?
We're reviewing a draft review.
Ew. It's boring. Can we just go back to alphabeting?
Hydrogen. That's because I looked at Hydreigon.
Oh, yeah. Let's just get this over with. Like, we've got a lot of energy today, and we're very happy to be doing this. You might ask why we're doing this if we're not fucking happy to be doing this, but, you know.
There's large contractual obligations we have, unfortunately.
Yeah, the sponsors will not let us. Like, we could go to jail if we didn't do this.
Raid Shadow Legends will be on your ass.
World of Tanks. They have lawyers. It's scary. This video was brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends. Anyway, yeah, this is VBL Season 14. And it's me, Keith. And this is my friend. Say hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend. It's me, LS.
Yeah, and we're doing VBL Season 14. And, yeah, we decided we'd do a fun draft thing, because that was really fun last season. I had a lot of fun with the tiers shenanigans. You know, there was a lot of fresh scoops, some fun teams. This VBL season, it's Reg H, isn't it?
Yes, regulation. Yeah. Sorry, it's Reg H Season 1 of Daddy Plan is the official title.
Oh yeah. What's the Daddy Plan again?
So this season, all the mons that go undrafted are the draft board for next season.
Oh, okay, that's a nice daddy plan. My daddy's plan was just to insult me every day of my life.
That's a vibe.
Yeah.
Not a good one, but a vibe.
Yeah, oh well, like, at least we're providing positive father figures to the world of draft leaguing. Yeah, so we're doing Reg H, and as the daddy plan, so every single Pokemon that has been drafted is undraftable for next season, which means next season's going to be a really low power level, because I've had a look at some of the teams, and they're quite high power level. So that'll be fun.
And I'm going to spend a whole season asking where Beartick.
Oh, yeah.
It's not going to be draftable.
That's very sad. I think the best Pokemon that's undrafted is like Fire Tauros or something, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, or like, I think Clefairy?
And I don't know if they're doing it cross-conference or not, but that's not our problem. Our problem is to talk about our crazy teams.
Yeah. So, what was our little draft restriction? Well, see, the thing is, I'm illiterate. Every single thing I've ever typed is me just mashing my head against a keyboard, just trying to type words, and it's carried me this far, gotten me a uni degree. I mean, I can't argue with it. But I'm being pressured by my significant other to start...
Me?
Yeah, you. To learn how to, you know, alphabet a bit, you know? So I'm slowly becoming literate. And my good friend, LS, is actually helping me with that.
Yeah.
We're drafting Pokemon that begin with the same words.
Same letters.
Same letters. So
I mean, the first difficult part of this was figuring out what our actual draft restriction was, because we toyed around with some real interesting ones, half of which were developed by ChatGPT, before I said, this is too much effort, let's stop overcomplicating this and just do letters.
Yeah, I was trying to think, like, some of the ideas were like region drafts, that sort of thing, or like even letting ChatGPT do a draft, but that's a bit, I think it's been done before, right?
Yeah, I was just getting ChatGPT to give me ideas, and some of them were cooked.
Oh, well, what was your favorite idea that we didn't go for?
Oh, hang on, I'll have to find.
Okay.
I can't even remember. They were just dumb.
Okay. Pokemon that weigh the same weight as you do in real life.
Yeah, it's stuff like
oh,
that.
No, I must. You don't understand. I must go. I must put on a lot of kilograms. I have to draft Hariyama.
No, cos. Oh, if only it was Reg G, I could have drafted Cosmoion. You know, weighs the same as me.
Oh, well, as long as you're comfortable with yourself, I guess.
I'm not. But yes, we decided to draft mons that have the same letter, which I actually thought initially would be easier, but then it ended up being.
It was hard. It was easy at the beginning, but then it got quite difficult because you realized you couldn't plan for anything.
Yeah, my good friend Keith got sniped 6,000 times. It was very sad.
That's just been every draft I've been in recently. WBG.
Yeah.
I have 3 drafts in that because it's multi-gen, and 2 are absolutely unusable because of how often I was sniped in them. But let's talk about our first pick. So it starts with the letter G. My favorite word that starts with the letter G is gaslight, which is why I picked Goldengo. What's your favorite word that starts with G?
Garchomp, which is why I picked Garchomp. I mean,
like,
all things considered, considering all the G words, Garchomp's probably up there in my brain.
Yeah, no, that's pretty fair. I just like gaslight because it's a funny word.
Yeah, so
and it's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, there was the pick draft in VBL, which meant that we had to do a draft to draft our pick order. You got like the second last pick, so you got stuck with the exact middle pick, I'm pretty sure.
I think it was like one below middle pick or something.
Yeah, and I was kind of towards the middle of the pick draft, which is a funny sentence to say. So I ended up with pick 14, which all things considered wasn't too bad.
Yeah, it meant we were close enough that like I think there was like 4 or 5 people in between us.
Yeah, which meant we could somewhat plan.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember what we were thinking about doing. I think we just picked this because they were the best 2, like...
Yeah, I think when your pick came up, the 2 guys that were up were Gold and Ursaluna, except I didn't feel like doing round 1 Umbreon, so we kind of just said, hey, there's lots of good G guys that wouldn't feel too bad for me to pick in the first round, like Grimmsnarl and Garchomp, mainly those 2, and a few others if I got desperate, but...
Yeah, like, there's actually a surprising amount of G Pokemon. Because you know what? Pokemon and Pokemon drafting, it's all G, baby.
It's all G unless you get sniped, then it's all sad.
Yeah, oh well. Yeah, Goldengo's a funny guy. He does look like a mascot for a string cheese company, or a cheese stick company that I'm familiar with. But he also just nukes things with Make It Rain, which is pretty fun. And Garchomp is, according to WolfClick, the greatest, I think the greatest Pokemon of all times, apparently, or something like that. It was like some pseudo. Yeah, the greatest pseudo of all time in VGC. So honestly, for 16, you must have gotten a bargain then.
Yeah. I did consider Grimmsnarl, but I'm not the biggest Grimmsnarl believer. And Garchomp, seeing as us pick 14, has quite a few guys that were pretty good with him. So I mean, it kind of made the decision easy. And plus, I think Garchomp's just a funny guy. Yeah. I do love Earthquake spammers in VGC, whether that's like with a Rotom or with who knows what. It's fun to just click Banded Earthquakes sometimes.
Yeah, he's just a strong guy. He's a strong guy. He's a fun guy. I think we just both picked a hitter, just someone who can knock it out of the park.
I can kill 2 opponents in one move.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll definitely... So what was the next letter? I can't remember.
I.
C, D, E, F, G... H. H is the next letter, but we actually drafted I.
We skipped a letter. We decided, you know what? H... Nah, I's where it's at.
Yeah.
No, so, I mean, with our next pick, I initially was quite a fan of Talonflame, except there wasn't actually a lot of, like, round 2 kind of T guys that weren't Talonflame.
There was Torkoal, which makes no sense.
There was Torkoal, Tyranitar, which didn't really make a lot of sense with you, and maybe one of the Tauroses. No spoilers, but you didn't end up getting one here.
Yeah, I didn't want to pick a round 2 Tauros, to be honest with you.
Yeah, so we instead flipped it and said what works good with gold that has a different letter that I'd be okay with.
Yeah. And so we picked I. I mean, Incineroar is like the most annoying piece of shit ever. I hate it. I hate it so much.
Yeah, it's not as good in draft, obviously, because you can covert cloak and clear amulet everything every time and whatnot, but it's still pretty good. He still hits pretty hard. He still does Incineroar things.
And
he can even
have more freedom in draft as well, I guess, to like...
Yeah, he can run an air balloon, so my Garchomp can click Earthquake.
Yeah, but like, you know, Intimidate's just good, like, forcing a physical attack at a whole clear amulet or something is just, you know...
Yeah, like if you're forcing them to take 2 item slots for 1 Pokemon, it's not the worst trade-off.
No, exactly. Yeah, Incineroar is a good guy. It can also like helps with ice beams, I guess. Like
yeah, it can swap in on some moves that can help. Which was one of the main things I was thinking. Like, it's obviously Incineroar, but it does help with the ice weakness, which is Garchomp's main downfall. I mean, you can still kind of freely click Icy Wind into Garchomp plus Incineroar, but I can at least swap in on an Ice Beam or 2 every now and then.
Yeah. And then I went Illumise because Illumise is cool, and it was that or it was Indeedee Male. With I.
Yeah, I think we had a few other things we were thinking for the second round, but we ended up... Because, yeah, Talonflame was not really going to work. I think we floated around with each taking a Clef as well, which would have been funny.
That would have been funny. That would have been really funny.
And, yeah, I think you were also okay with taking Infernape on the chance that Illumise got sniped, because there was always the world where we commit to saying, okay, I'm going to grab Incineroar, because it's still there, I grab Incin, and then you end up losing out. But I think,
I was happy for Infernape.
You ended up with the funny prankster bird, not bird, it's
bug.
It's basically bird. Prankster bug, can click T-Wave, can click T-Wind.
Can click
do lots of things to help Gold do funny things.
Yeah, it's just a broken Pokemon.
It doesn't, and it can click Prankster Encore, which is always funny, especially in this server.
Everyone loves their Prankster Pokemon here. So I believe what I said to the person who's picked, like I left this as a pick, and I believe I said to them, I want Illumise. If someone takes Illumise, you will threaten them for them to take Volbeat instead. Otherwise, like that's kind of what I said to them. But I'm glad it didn't come to that. I'm glad threats were not made, because, yeah, I specifically needed Illumise, not Volbeat, even though, let's be real, they're the same Pokemon.
No, they have, you can't click Tail Glow with Illumise. A different Pokemon.
Actually, Tail Glow Illumise would... So Tail Glow Baton Pass to Goldengo would have gone hard. I will be honest with you.
Well, if only there was... I wasn't taking round 2 Victory Bell, mate.
Hey, you could have had,
Exactly.
Volcarona, if it was for Venusaur?
Oh, yeah. Volk could have had some.
Actually, Volk would have been pretty hard. Venomoth? Yeah?
Yeah, I heard someone who drafted Venomoth last season loved it.
Hey, I did. It won me 1 game, and almost won me a 2nd game. Anyway, what's the next letter in the alphabet? That's right, it's H.
We went backwards this time.
Yay. What's your favorite word beginning with H?
It's actually multiple words, but I'm gonna count it. Hot air balloon. This is such a fun word, you know.
That's actually a good word. My favorite thing with H is hammer. Actually, it's probably Hydreigon, to be honest.
Yeah, if I can have Garchomp as in my favorites, you can have H for Hydreigon.
Yeah. Speaking of Hydreigon, I picked it because it has perfect defensive synergy with Goldengo, and I wanted a meatball that was kind of strong and could benefit from Illumiese's Tailwind, and that's what I got. Yeah.
And so we kind of at some points in this draft, we kind of did something that kind of like helps out the other person a bit more, or vice versa. So, Hydreigon here was definitely because Keith wanted Hydreigon. So I said, okay, you know what? Not Prankster, Intimidate plus Fake Out. That's a great Pokemon that I'm gonna get 2 of them.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and he does have good bulk as well, out like a special bulk, and as well, Wide Guard. As I said, Icy Wind can be annoying for a Chomp team to face. So he offers that. I mean, look, CC exists. It's a strong move, and in draft you can run Technician, Bullet Punch, Triple Axle sets and whatnot. So it's a pretty fun draft one. I've enjoyed using an MVGC draft before.
Yeah, I've always liked using Hitmontop in draft. I think it's
But
fun.
yeah, there will definitely be a Covert Cloak and a Clear Amulet versus me every week if I have Hitmontop plus Incineroar.
Yeah, but I guess that is prep that you're forcing, you know? And if not,
Yep.
they're just gonna, like, that basically just means I've got a physical attack, okay, unless I just want its attacks to do nothing, you know? Like,
Yeah, it does. I mean, like I can stop guys from running sashes and stuff if they're gonna have to run a Clear Amulet or whatever to be useful, and stop. Yeah, I just have to out offense it in some way, shape, or form. I mean, and the rest of my draft does help with that.
yeah,
Instant for more utility, but they're both guys who do utility but can also do damage, I think, which is good for me.
Yeah, like, there's, as you said, the Technician stuff with Hitmontop.
Yeah.
But Hitmontop can also just throw out, like, it's only like 95 attack, but close combat is just a strong move, so, you know, it's fine.
Yeah.
And Incin does have a surprisingly high attack stat. It's 115, which is higher than you'd think.
And even though it is Reg H, not every single person will have Rain, so Flare Blitz is also a very strong move.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
Mr. Incineroar.
Oh yeah, you know, honestly though, I do like that it's Reg H, because I feel like especially with like, you know, all your Paradox Pokemon, Draft and also Letter, but like Letter a lot more just feels very volatile. So I think it might lend itself a little better to longer term games where your team can actually like help with that, you know what I mean? That might just be me talking out of my ass, but I feel like there's just less volatility, less high power, less like, you know, booster energy, Terra Blast guy. Oh yeah, this is also like a Terra preview team, isn't it? No.
Yeah, Terra preview format.
I think that helps your team so far a little bit.
I mean, it does the weird thing of people can run Terra Ghost, and I will see that they run Terra Ghost, but then they might actually still be holding a Covert Cloak and stuff. Like, that's a mind game that exists. So it adds a weird dynamic, but I can see if they're running like 3 Terra Ghosts, I can assume only one of them's holding a Covert Cloak. Like, I've personally run Whimsicott in Terra Preview that was holding a Covert Cloak with Terra Ghost and got faked out when not terroring because I needed to Terra my other guy, so it does work.
That's very funny. That's actually very funny. I'll keep that in mind. And yeah, Hydreigon, good damage, just a good Pokemon all around. I quite enjoy using it in general. There's just a lot of different sets it can run. It can just hit things, it can specs, it can be sort of bulkier and
It can
defensively.
snarl.
Yeah, it can snarl. It can click focus energy and have scope lens and then spam crit like heat wave.
Draco for day, baby.
Yeah, it's quite funny. That might be one of my favorite Pokemon sets possibly ever. I love it so much. Yeah, but then what was the next letter? I don't remember.
After G, H, and I, the next logical letter in the alphabet to progress to is S.
S. Okay, what is your favorite word that starts with S?
Scooter, because it's just a fun word to say.
Mine is sycophant.
That's not a real word, you just made that up.
Yes, it is. It's like, you know, someone who's like a ass kisser sort of thing. You know?
Nah, you made it up.
You're right, you figured me out. But all words are made up, really.
That is true and factual.
Yeah, so I think this was a mostly you decision. I think you
Yes,
really wanted
so
Sinister.
I saw Incin plus Hitmontop and Garchomp And my thought when I saw a Sinister still on the board was, hey, that funny teacup will help keep my guys who are already... So if I just take away all of their attack stats, I can have a funny teacup that can just heal up the boys because they're already not doing as much damage as they should be. And the teacup can just come in and it can heal them. And it offers Trick Room because Incin is actually a Snorlax that you can get away with running it in Trick Room in some matchups. But yeah, I mainly just... Sinister's just a good mon. It has this... People don't realize how high that thing's special attack stat is. Like, it's
isn't it like
120?
Yeah.
121?
Oh, wow, that is actually higher than I thought.
And Matcha Gotcha is also a funny move to have access to when you're already saying stuff you physical attackers.
Or I would not bring a single physical attack.
So after you get double intimidated cycled, Sinister will come in and click Strength Slap on you, and then click Matcha Gotcha and get the double burn, double crit, and you'll be having a very sad time.
Yeah. Basically. Sounds good. I'm excited. I'm excited for that to happen.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, Sinister's just a cool little teacup. It's strong, it's bulky, it does damage, it has a useful ability, and heck, it can even run fireproof in some matchups if need be. Sorry, heatproof.
Yeah.
If there's like a sun matchup that's really annoying, but it's a funny teacup. I kind of I think we were kind of like along the mindset of I took him on top last round. What do you want LS to help you a bit here? And Snorlax is a pretty, and I actually think Snorlax was decently cheaply priced.
It was like
as
8
well.
or something.
Like all things considered, for how expensive some of the other guys were, Snorlax was kind of a budget Trick Room mon.
Yeah, I wanted something really slow. Like I had like medium-y guys, I guess. Like at this point I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to make a Tail Room team because that kind of makes sense. I've got the Brinks of Tailwind. I just need some Trick Room. So I picked a slow guy. I was considering also getting like a Slow King or like a slow at this point, but I'm like, oh, I'll just get Snorlax because I don't know, seems fine.
That decision will come back to haunt you.
Yeah, look, I don't want to talk about it, I still have to, fuck. Yes, I know, Snorlax just seemed to work well with my guys, I think. Does it? Kinda, sorta.
I mean, it's a bit of like it's a Trick-Room abuser. It doesn't always have to make the most sense.
No, but even then, like, you can just, like, have it as a big, bulky fat ass. You know? Like, just sits around, you know, slapping a few backs, you know, just being big. It's got a really high HP and special attack stat, so yeah, I don't know.
Special attack stat?
Yep, special defense stat.
He's going hard on the special build.
I mean, I want you all to remember that Snorlax would occasionally run Amnesia, or could run Amnesia when it buffed your attack and special attack and special defense because they were the same stat in general. So all I'm saying is,
and it actually doesn't have the worst special coverage, but it doesn't also have the worst special attack stat.
Does it have Calm Mind? It doesn't have Calm Mind. This is very sad.
It probably has work up, right? Doesn't everything get work up?
Do you really think Snorlax works for a living?
He'd be stockpiling, but he don't be working up.
Yeah. Well, it still has Amnesia though. You know,
if only you had access to Volbeat, you could have Tail Glow baton passed into Snorlax.
Why didn't I make you grab Vileplume, damn it?
Shaking my head.
It's very sad. Oh wait, it's fine. You know what it does have? Metronome. So I can metronome into Nasty Plot.
I heard you like normal types with Metronome and VBL.
That was really sad.
That's a bit of an open wound.
That's a sore spot for me. Who brings taunt to a friendly? Anyway, the next one was L. Because I love taking L's. What's your favorite word that starts with L?
Lard.
Mine is lozenge.
Oh, lozenge. That's also a fun one.
Yeah, the is good. Why lard?
I don't know, it's just a funny word. Like, you know what I mean? It's like 4 letters, but it feels like it's like, lard. You don't really... Yeah. I mean, I guess as us Australians, we don't really pronounce all the letters as we should, but lard.
The Australian alphabet only has 22 letters.
Yeah, well, even then, probably less. if you count the apostrophe.
That's true, I do. Yeah, they can all go. Oh yeah, nah. Well, we were talking about doing 2 fairies, but instead we did 2 Lycanrocs. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is.
I think you just wanted a guy that went fast and hit hard.
Yeah, I think this is the
That was-
start of Snipe Central for me. So, I wanted Cinderace, and that was gone. I think I wanted like I was considering just doubling up S and getting getting Slowbro or something, but that was gone by this point. I think maybe like there was just a couple of Pokemon that were just gone. So I'm like, whatever. I'll just take Lycanroc. It's an L. There's probably a lot of L Pokemon, and it hits pretty hard and has a Cell Rock and. You know, just something over like 100, like over the 98 speed, which I think is Hydreigon's, like, is my fastest at the moment. I don't think speed is like as big, and I do have Prank's Tailwind, so like I just wanted like 1 or 2 things that were a bit sort of 100 plus speed. You know, we'll see if I got that much, but yeah, I don't know. It's strong Pokemon. It was also like 8 points, so it seemed pretty cheap. Why did you pick Lycanroc?
Look, at this point, despite having Garchomp, Sand wasn't even overly onto my mind. I kind of just, I think it was like 4 or 5 points. It was a fast guy. It could click Rock Slide. I mean, it was just a cheap guy that can hit hard, and I've used it in previous seasons here outside of Sand, and it's done. I mean, I had a Qian Power that season, but it still put in work.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like that we both got a Lycanroc. I think that's cute.
It is.
Look at them; they look like they're friends. I always wondered why the dusk form. Like, I think is it supposed to be like halfway between midnight and like midday?
I think so, except it looks nothing like the other
Yeah.
one.
Like the only thing that it has with midnight is the like it's starting to get that like sort of
A little bit
fringe.
edgy.
Yeah, the little fringe. It's mostly just the midnight one. I mean, look, it makes sense. The midnight one just looks way cooler. But still.
I don't know if I agree with you.
Sorry, I mean, no, it makes sense. Sorry. Not the midnight, the midday one looks way cooler.
Yes.
Yeah. The midnight one looks like it belongs on a Hot Topic shirt.
Yeah, in a punk pop boy band.
Yeah. You know, I feel like it would be on the cover of, like, you know, the latest Offspring album or something. I think that works. Yeah. But anyway, Lycanroc, cool Pokemon, fast. So we both got a fast guy there, we both got a rock type, you know. Got basically the same one, they have like 2 stats difference.
Yes. So what? They're similar. But I mean, yours hits harder with tough claws and whatnot.
Mhm.
But they both click funny Rock Slide, and that's a vibe. Rock Slide's funny and skillful.
Yeah, it is. You just like, you know, like if you miss rock slide, it's because you're a shit player and a bad person.
Explicit emphasis on the bad person.
Yeah, like
as well.
you this is your punishment for all the bad things you've done.
So true.
Yeah.
So factual.
Yeah. It's the game making a moral judgment on you. Next,
Yeah.
I think it was a you decision, I think.
Okay, so I got sniped big time here. This was like
Mhm.
the one overly snipe I got. With Garchomp. Garchomp's, you know, best friends are the Rotom family.
Mm-hmm.
Now I had planned to take Rotom Wash, and about 2 picks before this pick, where we'd already decided what to get, Rotom Wash got yoinked away from me, and I got very sad.
That is sad.
But looking at my team, I didn't really have. The only special one I had was Sin, so I kind of wanted something more special. Friend, I wanted a more special attacker, but Porygon isn't a Rotom. It doesn't get Levitate as an electric type to have Garchomp spin Earthquake, but it does get funny adaptability, normal type moves, which are pretty good. And Garchomp takes out the steel types that Porygon has issues with, so there is a little bit of synergy going on there.
So does Incin, to be fair.
Yeah, so does Incin. I mean, so does the first three. My first three guys all take out steel types pretty well. So Porygon felt like a pretty safe bet here. It as well can also offer Trick Room support. I know I have Sin, but if you ever need to get funky in the builder, it's somewhat bulky enough that it can set up and not get exploded. But yeah, it'll probably come. It'll click funny normal type moves, probably Terror into maybe a normal or a Ghost type, and just do a lot of special damage, which is what it needs to do. Hit hard and somewhat fast.
Yeah, I quite like Porygon Z. I might have even suggested that too. I like that it's got like a huge special attack stat, which I felt like your team needed.
Yeah. I mean, Sin has a big one, but yeah, Sin is probably not going to be running a lot of special attack investment.
Yeah, and like it also runs like a spread move most of the time, which also like eats into the amount of damage it does like to singular Pokemon. With its main sort of grass stab. Yeah, Porygon just kind of nukes things. I enjoyed, like, I don't remember what I was going to take if Rotom was still around. I don't remember at all. It might have been Rhyperior or something.
Yeah, I think initially you were thinking of Rhyperior.
Yeah, it might have been Rhyperior or something. I wanted Rhyperior this whole draft until it went, which is very sad. Might have even been considering Ribombee, or even like my own Rotom Heat. But when it was P, was like, okay, this is a Pokemon that I've drafted like 8 million billion times in VBL, and by that I mean I think every season bar one that I've been in here. And it was Berserker, because I really like Berserker. I think it's a great Pokemon. Just cheap Steel type, cheap like Trick Room abuser, cheap Fake Out. I think it kind of just packs everything you want in a Pokemon. Like, it is mediocre in terms of its stats and stuff, but like, it does a surprising amount of damage. And for the first time that I've drafted this, when the olds do their review, they can't say, oh, you have to have another Steel type with Berserker, because I have another Steel type with Berserker. I have the best Steel type with Berserker. So yeah, switching into the Make It Rains is going to go pretty hard. Because Steely Spirit is boosted by 1.5x, so like choice specs.
Free choice specs.
Yeah, and like put another choice specs.
You bring Nasty Plot. Yeah, you can double choice specs that bring Nasty Plot, set up a Tailwind with Iliamize, swap in a Berserker, and explode some children.
Yeah, the 50% boost is pretty real. So I'm actually pretty happy with that. Yeah, Berserker, cool Pokemon, strong guy. And it does, if I get a Trick Room Center, which at the moment I don't fucking have, but if I get one, then this team is really tailwind roomy. Which I just think, I don't know, is probably good in this Reg H. I don't know what a Reg H draft looks like.
This is what a Reg H draft looks like.
I'll tell you what a Reg H draft looks like. Oh, actually, before that, what was your favorite word starting with P?
Prismarine.
Oh, that's a good one. I like Pompous.
Pompous? Yeah, that's not
Pompous
bad.
sounds like what it describes, you know?
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Yeah. Anyway, the next one is F.
F. So there are two cool Pokemon on this screen. One being the greatest Pokemon in VBL history when it won its MVP.
That's not
the
Beartic.
Goat Flor. Oh, sorry. It's Florges. I like making mid-mons perform well in VBL. It's kind of my bit. But no, so I didn't get my Talonflame that I wanted second round, but we kind of identified early on that, hey, Fletchinder, it's not exactly Talonflame, but it still clicks Priority Tailwind and can not get Earthquaked next to Garchomp. But there was a few F guys floating around that allowed Talonflame to do that if I took a Fletchinder. Sorry, that allowed Garchomp to do that if I took a Fletchinder. Yeah. And one of them, when you showed me the list of F, I pointed out to you, hey, there's a cool guy on that list who clicks Calm Mind and then murders things.
And that's Florges. Now, granted, when you had it, you had Grassy Terrain, which does help.
Yes.
Yeah, Florges. I can't remember the other Fs that I was looking at. But I basically came to you, and then you did you sold it. You know, you worked your what's the word I'm looking for
Charm.
here? Your charm, your agenda. You know, it was sufficiently worked.
I gaslit gate kept girl boss you into
Yeah,
taking it.
and I mean, I can't help but fall to the gaslighting, the gatekeeping, and the girl bossing. Yeah,
We took it a bit early on because after getting sniped of Road on Wash, I didn't overly want to. Like, I knew Fletchender, it was pretty early to draft a Fletchender, but it's a mon that someone else could randomly say, ooh, I want.
yeah.
So we decided to get it a bit early.
But they
don't
also
know.
didn't have tailwind at this point, and I think it was pretty important for your draft to have a
Yeah,
way
to
to
have
do
some sort
tailwind.
of speed control, because it was kind of just Gloomons and
Like, it
guys
was-
that do stuff so
Like,
far.
you had Trick Room, but you didn't have any like fast thing for
Outside of
taking
a
advantage of.
Porygon Z, Choice Scarf, Icy Wind, I didn't have any way to not get blown up by random Terra Blast Ice, which is the good thing about Terra Preview, is I can know if some of those pesky electric types are packing a Terra Blast Ice for Garchomp.
Yeah, I do like that for your team. I think it helps your team.
And I can't wait for you to randomly Terra Grass things next to Florges to get its funny ability.
Oh, what is that funny ability again?
Flower Veil. This side's grass type can't have stats lowered or status inflicted by other Pokemon.
That's kind of funny. Wait, does that work for self?
Yes.
So what I can do is You're telling me I can Terra Grass my
Gorgeous.
Goldengo, and then I can click make.
Okay,
it
I
rain.
don't know how it interacts with Gold's ability and stuff, but like you could Terra Grass your Lycan Rock to not get status, like Willowed, and
Yeah.
then dodge ground damage and stuff. There's some synergies there.
Okay, that's interesting. I didn't realize that. Yeah.
But yeah,
Um,
and given that the fact there's notoriously not too many fairies, in the format, Florges I think is pretty good for you.
Yeah, I think the olds
like-
were talking about how Sylveon is like the highest priced one, and like that kind of sets the scene for what the state of fairies is like in this
Yeah,
meta.
and Florges has like some stupid thing. I was looking at it. It's like oh, sorry, I think Prim would probably be the highest. Like
Oh, yeah.
Florges is in like the top 20 of or top 10 of special attack stats or something like that when I was looking last time in this format, which is setting the bar low,
Yeah.
but it's funny.
Well, it's very high, and like I think it just
Okay, that's a
satisfies-
stretch. I just looked at my brain is memory. It's like the top 30.
Okay, but like,
But it's also like the highest special defense stat and stuff, so
yeah. Well, just I think it just sort of works with a Tailrune team. I think.
Yeah.
It was just damage guy, and I felt like I need more damage guys, to be honest.
yes. Run max Fizz defense, click Calm Mind, Profit.
Yeah, it's a setup thread as well, which sort of like allows. I think that allows, like, for example, Goldengo to be more specs focused. Like, I think this team that I have has like a lot of Pokemon that can set up, but can just like not care and click buttons and hit people in the head, which I think is nice because it keeps opponents guessing. Gives me some flexibility in the team builder. But yeah, Fletchinder is a good Pokemon. It gets Will-O-Wisp, right? It probably does. So like,
I mean, it get the one move that matters. It gets is Tailwind.
yeah, it gets Tailwind, but it'll
It gets some other. It gets like upper hand. No, sorry, not upper hand. It gets Quick Guard and stuff still.
yeah. That's
It
cool.
gets. It does get Willow. It gets Willow. It gets Defog. In those times where I really need. It gets Feather Dance. Which after a Tailwind, if it's
Pranks
Sash,
the
is a
Feather
random
Dance,
extra. It's not Prankster, but
Well, yeah,
it gets
Gale
quick-
Wings.
oh, sorry, no, true, it does get.
But
You know what?
but
Let's lower
also,
their attack.
you know
even
what your
further.
team needs? More ways of lowering physical attack. I just feel like there's not enough on it. I just feel like, physical attackers I think are a bit too free against your team. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you picked up priority Feather Dance.
Yeah. I mean, look, 73 attack stat. It's not real, but it's not nothing. Like it'll still do a little bit of damage after clicking
You'll be able to click
Tailwind if
Overheat.
need be. Yeah, Overheat or Brave Bird if it needs to, something like
Yeah.
that.
Alright.
But it clicks Tailwind and Garchomp can click Earthquake is the main thing.
Oh yeah, what's your favorite? Have we done F word?
I can't remember. I don't think we did.
What's your favorite F word? And not the actual F word, obviously.
Flip. No. I reckon I like... I don't even know. I can't think of an F word that's immediately jumping out to me. What about you?
I can't think of one that immediately jumps out to me either. Flagrant, actually, is not bad.
The first one that popped out to me is fridge. I don't know, it's just a fun word to
Yeah,
say. Like,
that's not
the
bad.
I guess fringe is also a funny sounding
Yeah.
word if you think about it.
Or flamboyant, I do like that.
Fruity, which is a similar wavelength.
I like, feminine's a good word, actually.
Yeah, feminine. That's a nice sounding word.
Yeah, feminine, yeah.
Florgeous, feminine. Yeah, I can vibe with that.
France is the worst word of all time because it's
Yeah,
that country.
Yes.
And Frozen as well because it's got a Z in it. Alrighty. That's all they do. Anyway, the next one was T.
Yes. So, yeah, but this was kind of we were kind of trying to figure out where to go next with both of our drafts, looking at our remaining budgets. We tried at this point. I think there was like 7,000 screenshots of different. What do we slap on as our last 4 months? Here's something that I think could work for me. Oh, what would you do if we were to do these 4 months? And we did that about 7,000 times back and forth. And we also discovered throughout that process that I don't know how the alphabet works, and it'd be like I need a P-mon, an F-mon, and a T-mon, and I would somehow miss one of those letters and do the other letters twice. So there's like 6,000 screenshots of teams that just don't even exist.
That was a wild.
I did it so many times in a row. I felt so stupid. But no, we kind of were thinking and looking at different options. And we kind of realized, hey, wait a second. I have funny Garchomp. I have funny Lycanroc. Hey, funny T-Tar is technically on the board still. Is there a way to make it so I can have a heavy hitter who sets sand? And the answer was yes. We did. We figured out a way to make it work. And I kind of said to Keith, I said, hey, if I know T-Tar is a pretty T is not the best letter for us. We've already kind of established. I mean, at least the best round 2 letter for us. But if you give me this T-Tar, I'll kind of just let you pick the rest of the letters.
Yeah.
And, you know, you fix up the whatever this T is going to do to you. Because I think after that, you know, I had like 6 points left. And I thought at that point, 6 points for 3 Pokemon or whatever. Like, it doesn't really matter.
I had a lot of points.
It wasn't exactly 6. It was not many points. So,
yeah.
I mean, T-Tar... obviously for me sets sand, and it's also my team is already pretty fat. I mean, it does have a little bit of anti-synergy with how fat my team can be taking sand ship in some circumstances, but like T-Tar, it's gonna live a CC at some point because there's gonna be some poor -2 attack dude who's been intimidated 2 or 3 times, and he's gonna live a CC, and it's gonna be amazing. But yeah.
I also think that it doesn't necessarily, like, chips away your bulky guys, but you have bulky guys. Like, a bulky guy getting, like, 6% chipped away isn't as important. Like, a bulky offense guy getting 6% chipped away isn't as important as, say, like, you know, let's go, for example, I know it's not in the format, don't at me, but a Chien Pao losing 6%, right? Because then it's like, okay, well, now its sash is broken, you know? Like, your sash guys are, like Lycanroc.
Or Fletchinder, who I actually arguably want off the field as quick as possible.
Yeah. So, like, there's actually a lot of, like, I actually think it kind of can help your team if you look at it that way. Because I think it is a bit more important for you, than it kind of hurts. And,
and it gives me another speed control option, and it allows me to do funny Sandvale shenanigans with Mr. Chomp. He'll be tanky. He'll maybe dodge some sandy moves, some just regular any moves really.
Yeah. I'll be honest, your team's cooking. Your team's cooking. I really like it.
Yeah, for our draft restrictions, I feel like I ended up all right.
Yeah.
As I said, you slap an Orthworm on this team somewhere towards the end, which we tried to do, but you didn't want Oricorio,
Yeah.
and there's like 3 Omons in the format. But if we slapped an Orthworm on this team, it would have gone, so much harder. But
Yeah.
I still think Garchomp and T-Tar is a pretty fun combo, and the fact that I managed to, get round 8 T-Tar was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, when I take Garchomp and then I take a round 5 Lycanroc, no one is really going to want Sand anyway.
Yeah, exactly. At this
I mean,
point
Drill,
for
but...
me, I was like looking at everything. Like you had the T-Tar, but even then I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I was looking at regular like for my T, I was looking at regular like Paldea Tauros. I was looking at regular just Kanto Tauros. I was looking at Tropius, Torterra, Trevenant, Trevenant with Tauros as well. Like there was a lot of T's that I was looking at, and it took a... God, I think I might even have like a Tentacruel plan at one point. But like, it just, the options were going away because I wanted Rhyperior and that went. I wanted Gastrodon and that went. I wanted like, I think something else and that went. Realistically, what I remember is I wanted a few things. I needed a water type. I needed like a speed above Hydreigon, and I needed a Trick Room setup, and I needed a ground type, and I needed all of that in my next couple of picks with a T, which did really make things difficult. But eventually, I consulted with a couple of people. Shout outs especially to Jace, who really I think sort of led me in that direction. And I went with Tauros Aqua because it does actually work pretty okay with Goldengo. Fire types, it does beat them pretty well, and it also beats steel types, and it also like beats ground types, so like it can actually threaten a lot of Pokemon that Goldengo doesn't have the greatest matchup into. It's another physical Pokemon, which is going to be pretty good. It's my own Intimidate as well, so I do have that to help with the physical Pokemon. Yeah, I think it just sort of complements my team kind of well. Works in Tailwind too. Yeah, good Pokemon. It stops any like screens bullcrap because Raging Bull does break the screens. Yeah.
And I do think it's worth mentioning the reason why you wanted a water type here, and the reason why I never really considered T-Tar was initially this was like, I think after Fletch and Deal we were picking Slowbro or Slowking for you, but they both got sniped, and then I think all the other the other ones got sniped like around later of you anyway. So that's kind of why after Slowbro got sniped, because like we had multiple plans, but none of them said, hey, you actually had heaps of points left over for me to do a random T-Tar. So after that, I kind of realized we could, and then you ended up with your water, I ended up with my T-Tar, but you didn't end up with a Trick Room setter just yet.
No, I did really want the slows. Like I was thinking, like when the two like regular Kanto slows went, I was like, okay, I'll go Slowbro or Slowking Galar with Greninja or something like that. But again, that just all fell apart. But yeah. Look, I ended up with Water Tauros. I refused to take it round 2 and maybe hurt your team a little bit, but I eventually got it. I don't know, like, I did eventually get it, so, it was foisted onto me.
Favorite T word?
Yeah, Tribunal. Or Tribute.
I don't know if this is a cheat, but I'll go with Tinky Winky, my cat. He's sitting at my feet.
Oh, that's cute. Oh, I should have done... Wait, do I have any of my cats? Oh, I couldn't... Yeah, actually, it's Tokyo, which was the name of a cat that passed away of mine last year. RIP. I don't think we haven't had an M, a C, or a K, so I haven't missed my cats. I'm a good pet owner. Cats are great.
They are.
Alrighty, the next word, so at this point I was kind of like deciding stuff because you didn't have many points left, and I wanted an R, and I wanted a Trick Room setter, and at this point it was like, whatever, the best one there. I was originally going to go Medicham because I quite like Medicham. I have
and then
big
that got
belief in it.
sniped. Well.
Yeah, then that got sniped. It was going to be like Medicham Swampert or something like that, and I have a huge amount of belief in Medicham as a Trick Room setter. I think it's great, but yeah, it got sniped. So, I could have had the. Didn't I? Was it you that I beat with Berserker, Steely Spirit, a Bullet Punch Metacham? And
I
then,
don't.
like spammed
We're in
Feint or something like that.
Oh yes, no, I do remember that. I had, yeah, I don't know where that was, but I ended up clicking like Feint like 12 turns in a row or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
Maybe it was like VBL a couple of seasons ago. That does sound familiar.
Yeah, it was but yeah, I quite like that combo, but that was gone unfortunately. So I just went screw it, and I picked the biggest best trick room setter that was left, which in this case was Reuniclus. I've been playing a bit of this team on ladder, like just taking 6 guys. Reuniclus is the 6th guy and has done absolutely nothing in any of the ladder games I've played, so you know that's it doesn't bode well. But I don't know.
Trick Room's better in draft than it is in ladder.
Yeah, and like he's strong and he's bulky enough, and he can set Trick Room, and then he can abuse Trick Room. Wait, you had a Reuniclus last season, didn't you?
I did, but
Did you like
that
it?
was I didn't, but that's because my team did. It was the first, pick one Reuniclus, and then my dearest wife proceeded to draft a team which gave Reuniclus no real support, so it didn't really do much. And instead, I fell in love with Beartick, so it was an alright season anyway.
Fair enough. And I'll let you get Rev Room.
Yeah, so I had like no points left. Kind of in the last few points, what I needed was I looked at my team and said, "Hey, there's not a lot of many fairies in the format, but at the moment, my only fairy resist with having T-Tar and Garchomp is Fletchinder." So I was like, I need a steel type, and on the board, like the only like somewhat bringable to game low tier steel types were Reveroom or Magnezone.
Skarmory, maybe?
And I was kind of, and what? Sorry.
Skarmory, I guess, if you're really desperate.
Yeah, and Skarmory. They were kind of the 3. And I was gonna, if Keith didn't suggest one of those 3 letters, I was gonna kind of potentially suggest, hey, like I can do it without, but I would happily have one of these letters. But thankfully he decided on R, which allowed me to get Reveroom. I've used it before. It's kind of a bait mon because you think it'll get a shift gear off, except it's actually a lot harder to position a shift gear, at least in my experience in VGC draft with it. But hey, if the weeks where I verse the fairy types, it'll still bring, like, banded gunk shot and blow things up for 10 more million damage as long as it hits.
Yeah.
And it'll only really come probably to games where there's a strong fairy type, and it'll do what it needs to do. For 5 points, that's all right. It has some cool abilities. Doesn't it get? Hang on 1 second.
It gets filter. Like that's the thing. It's 5 points, which is like decent
And it
for it.
overcoat. So if I ever need to terror it out of steel type, I also have the option to not take chip.
Yeah, and you also ignore rage powder and sleep powder and spore and stuff.
Yeah.
To be honest, like I think the Terror Preview does actually hurt its ability to do the shift gear shenanigans anyway. But I feel like if you just bring it as like, okay, if there's a problematic fairy or something, this will like destroy it, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's I think you can get some use out of it, you know?
Yeah, and for 5 points, it's like, it's fine. It'll do
It's
what it
best
needs to
steal.
do. It'll come to 2. Yeah, it'll be the fairy resist for my team. I may have some Terra Fairy Terra Blasts get me in other weeks, but Reveroom will save me on the weeks where they have a Sylveon or, Florges. Hee tee foreshadowing.
Oh yeah, wait, we're in the same conference, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Oh, boy. Alrighty, the next letter is C. Yeah, because I was originally going to do Metacham and Swampert, so I had to get a much cheaper ground type, and I was originally going to go Donphan, but then I came to the realization that I need to be a baller. I need to be an absolute baller, and I picked Camerupt, the most ballerist Pokemon of all time. Gives me a fire type as well, which is nice. Yeah, Camerupt, good guy. Trick Room.
Yeah,
threat.
it's viable. It can be a Trick Room threat.
Yeah. Good physical attacker, good special attacker. I've used it a couple of times. It's one of my boys, a low tier boy. Quite good. Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, Cryogonal, look, it finally gave me the Levitate mon that I was craving. We didn't say our favorite R words.
Oh.
What are we doing?
My favorite R word is rambunctious.
Mine is ridiculous, because that's ridiculous. And my favorite C word is cuttlefish. It's just a fun word.
I'm an Australian. You all know what my favorite C word is. I don't even need to say it.
You can't say it. You'll lose the sponsorship money from
Yeah,
World of
exactly.
Tanks.
But I want everyone to know that I will see you next Thursday.
Okay. See you in the Northern Territory.
Yeah, see you in the Northern Territory. You don't see anyone in the Northern Territory.
No, yeah. So Cragonal, it's fast. It levitates. It can click icy wind. That for 2 points. Like it's an all right mon. It may come to a game or two. It may not. I don't have any use out of its funny frost breath ability. I don't have any anger point uses. But hey, it's fine.
There's camera up. We could like, team up. We can team
And
up.
you also have Tauros.
Yeah. Does that Taurus have anger point?
Yeah, don't they?
Oh, it does. Yeah, I almost got wrecked. I almost got wrecked by one in a Nuzlocke I'm doing with electric, because I crit it, and then it got anger point, and I got to +6. It's very scary. And time for the last Pokemon, I think.
Yes.
Is R. What is your favorite R word? I know we've done R already, but we've done R already. What's the point?
Yeah, I've already said my favorite R word.
Yeah, rambunctious. Yeah, you have the sex appeal bird.
Yeah, I have the sex appeal bird. I don't know. It was that or Rowlet. It was my 1 point R type.
Well,
And I said, I don't think Rowlet's ever going to come to a game. At least maybe Rufflet can come be a funny, I don't know.
Defiant.
It actually does damage, but
Yeah.
it's currently tied for the slowest mon on my team. So there may be a Trick Room Rufflet game.
Ooh, powerful. Powerful. I picked Rotom because I wanted Electrobes and I wanted an electric type. And a ground immunity as well, like another one of those. Flying resist. Yeah, that's about it really. It's good for 3 points, so I picked it.
Also, on a fun side note, oh yeah, bro, I had Rotom last season too.
Yeah, I'm basically drafting your team.
Yeah. A fun side note, I may or may not have just opened the VBL Season 14 official document. We play each other week 2.
Oh, there you go.
It's the first time I've looked at the schedule.
Oh no, co-hosts turned rivals, how sad.
Yeah, just don't do what Electric did and gaslight gatekeep girl boss me into losing.
I will not gaslight gatekeep goblins. Well, I will, but I'll do it in an ethical way.
Yeah.
Alrighty, and those are the teams. You can see them here. Looky. Ooh, fancy. Now, the question is, who do you think is going to be your kill leader? Let's do some fun predictions.
See, based on history, I don't want to say Garchomp because I always get some random one on my team to be my kill leader. I don't know. I want to go crazy and I want to say T-Tar. T-Tar gets kills for me.
Yeah, gotcha.
I reckon as well because he has that thing of like he'll end up picking up a lot of kills. Where like, but I think he'll be my kill leader.
I'm gonna say for you, it'll either be Porygon Z or Lycanroc.
I can see that. I feel like for you, Golden Joe.
Yeah, probably.
It's too broken.
I do want it to be like Berserker somehow, but it's probably gonna be Golden.
Or you know, maybe Golden Go gets them all down to their sashes and Berserker picks up all the kills.
Because that's what Berserker's great at. Yeah, I think it's gonna be Golden Go, or possibly Taurus Aqua for a sneaky one, but yeah. Which is kind of built
not Florges? No, not Florges? Oh,
yeah, actually, yeah. Ah, screw it, that's boring. Yeah, it's Florges. Florges is gonna be my kill leader. Florges is gonna beat everyone. I'm gonna make it rain with Goldango and then calm mine with Florges, and I'll win. But yeah, that's about it. So, I think with that we can put this whole thing out of its misery. Say goodbye.
Hey, wait, hang on. I think before we finish, we need to establish what's our favorite word.
Oh, my favorite word is content, because that's what you're watching. No, my favorite word is the viewers, because I love every single one of you.
I have two favorite words, and I think they're like and subscribe.
Oh, yes. Yes. I also think that they're, I've got another favorite word, comment, down below. That's a really
Sorry, and I
strong-
think I have one final one, and it's share button. Is that's a thing on YouTube? Yeah, that's surely.
Yeah,
I don't know if
share
that boosts the algorithm or anything, but share button.
Yes. And remember to remember the alphabet. It's very important.
Yes, it is.
Goodbye.